Hi, guys. Welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe, and here we are at this. Ellen, what a fantastic picture. Hi. And Julie, welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here. Thanks for making it over to YouTube to watch us as we launch our new channel, Trinity Mystical Energy. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do, because you'll get to see what's coming up. Because we'll be doing our weekly show here, but we'll also be doing some special broadcasts for the for full moons and for some of the equinox and solstice kind of celebrations, and some mini classes. And we want to make sure you guys get your knowledge on. So thank you, Sage. I appreciate that. I don't know if you can see the pink and the purple and the blue in there. I'm enjoying it. Hi, Rachel. Nice to have you. There's my handsome cousin. And Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Nice to have you. Maureen. Oh my gosh. The beautiful Maureen Mann is in the house. I love it. Hi. Welcome, guys. It's we're in this new energy, this new format, and Trinity Mystical Energy as a YouTube channel. We're really going to be tapping into want it to be a spiritual resource for you. Many of you have been part of Star Nations, and while Star Nations has taken a bit of a hiatus, I still wanted somewhere for people to land, and it also lets people know a little bit about my school and stuff that we do. So it was kind of a win-win. Pushed me out of my comfort zone. But thank goodness Rob is here to help me navigate. And sorry to anybody who was checking in last week. We were supposed to do the show last week, and on my end, it was one of those days where anything that could go wrong did go wrong. And I was traveling, and it was a downpour, and I didn't even make it to my hotel until after the broadcast would have started, and it would have been a hot mess with me at that point. So there you have it. And thank you for liking the hair. My hairdresser is helping me embrace some of the white hair that's underneath, but having the fun with the colors still, because you know me, I gotta have my galaxy personality in there. So there we go. Tonight we are talking about accessing the fourth dimension. Basically, the earth is going through the ascension process. It's already on its way, with or without us. And so as the earth's energy shifts, we're in the middle of her energy body. We're in her aura. So we can't help but experiencing some of the changes and the shifts along with her. And a lot of people are talking about the fifth dimension, and that's where we're headed. But when we skip a grade, we sometimes miss out on things, and there's so much energy connected to the fourth dimension. We really come in contact with our angelic team like on steroids when we hit the fourth dimension. And I'm sure Miss Maureen knows all about that. And Cindy's saying, had that week and still happening. Yes, it's one of those things that, as we hit spring, the spring energy on Saturday was so interesting for me. It was like catapulting forward. It wasn't like a little bunny hop that spring often feels like, yes, we're moving forward, like this little hop. I definitely felt like that, like slingshot had been pulled back and I'd been thrown into, all of the little things that I hadn't taken care of, and kind of thrown into a pile, and had to work my way through that stuff rapidly. And for those of you who know that I run an energy medicine school. Um, and as part of the energy medicine school, we do a lot of the mystery school stuff as well, the mystical traditions. And we had that all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So whenever my school starts up, we're the planets are always aligned to help us do a lot of huge spiritual growth. Because that's kind of what we do here. And as part of that, it was really evident that it it's so necessary for us to understand that as the earth is going through her growth process, um things like learning to ground in more than one dimension is necessary, because you may not know where you are. um Especially if you like to be like a little bit out of it. You're like, well, wherever I am, I want to ground there. um so, oh my goodness, look at all these people who just showed up. Rob, we have Jackie. Oh, nice to see you. And Holly. Oh my goodness. And there's Cindy's so happy. I know it's really cool that we're making it over here. We know it might take a couple tries for people to start to understand that we would be over here on YouTube. Facebook was making it a little complicated to do live broadcasting through there, using Be Live. It's just so much easier to use YouTube. The platform is just a lot more open. So things like I can have music when we start the show, and we can have music when we end. That Rob created specifically for me. Thank you, Rob. I love it. It's his guitar. Yeah. Anyways, there we go. So sometimes right now, because of the energy, we're in the third dimension. Sometimes we're in the fourth. Sometimes we're in the fifth. And things like how to shield, how to protect, how to ground, our tried and true ways may not be working terrifically. I mean, a lot of that started to shift and change big time last year. But been noticing is that the fluctuations between dimensions, um, it's not consistent. Where last year it was more like we were all in one or we were all in another, and we would be there for a couple days, and then we'd ease into another, and we so it even though things were difficult, they were easier to manage. And maybe it's because a lot of us were isolated. We weren't interacting as much. Maybe we weren't being influenced by as many people's energy, except maybe through our beautiful devices. But in general, we had a little space so that we could manage the shifts and the changes. And we're starting to reintegrate, as a community, and as we start to come back and we see each other more, and we're getting together more, and we are in larger groups than we've been, it's almost like it's speeding up the waves between the dimensions. So yes, Rob said the recording that he made, it was the first thing that he recorded with his new awesome guitar. Look at the picture. I just love it. um, and Sage is saying, do you have a new Ascension blend for this shift? Oh yeah. The Ascension blend that I have, the first version came out, oh dear. Um, Before 2020 for sure. I think it was in 2019. And it got upgraded last year, and it got upgraded again. So it actually got upgraded this year. somewhere in the first week of January. I have it written down. So yeah, we're in brand new energy. This ascension blend helps you go from through 3, 4, 5 really easily. And so for those of you guys who don't know what the ascension blend in it is, it's one of my essential oils I channeled from my team. There's also a brand new grounding blend and a brand new psychic protection. And those all are attuned to the fluctuating dimensional flow around us. And those are all available on my website, which is www.trinitymysticalenergy.com. We've moved my whole store over there. And most of the time it works. I guess Sage had a little freezing thing go on, but I think that's fixed now. And so the Ascension blend that is out right now helps, people with ascension symptoms. That's the best way my team has described it. So if you've had things like headaches, dizziness, growing pains, pains in your hips, your knees, your lower back, your shoulders, your neck, that may all be because we're doing a big shift in the dimensions. Nausea too for some people. And the difficult thing is, some of these. So is the old Ascension blend not working anymore? No, it is working. It's working more in the energy of the third and the fourth dimension, which is mostly what we're fluctuating with. The new blend just works a little bit more. It goes up a little bit higher. So the range of the blend goes it's got a little more elasticity. That's how my team is talking about it. Okay. So no, it'll still be working for you. And if you hold it on your heart and ask it to match the ascension energy that is currently present, it will adjust as well. The oils that are in it are very good at programming to exactly what your body needs. Holly's asking, are there any crystals that can help us with this shift? Yes. My new favorites. So pyrite has been very powerful with the shift. And with pyrite, there is a masculine and a feminine. So the masculine pyrite comes in cube shape, and the feminine looks more like a regular crystal. It's more blobby. And for those of you who don't know what pyrite is, it's what has been called fool's gold. And the cubes, the masculine pyrite works really, really well. And the other ones that have been really strong are black kyanite, as well as peacock ore. And I'm enjoying the purple peacock ore a little more than the ones that are blue. The blue ones, they still work for protection purposes, but the purple is very good at helping with really keeping your aura in line as we shift around. And there's always the good old ones of selenite, and if you have clear quartz that hasn't been programmed, you can ask it if that particular quartz piece will help you with the ascension, but then don't use it for anything else. Once you've asked it to work on one thing, that's its job. And it does it diligently. But if you want it to work on ascension symptoms, that's your ticket. If you're having aches and pains, nothing has been beating septarian, and which is also called dragon's eye. And I really like that in the palm stone form because you can put it on the part of your body that's having trouble, and it sends rapid healing. So it's not so much as a a stone that helps with the ascension, but it helps alleviate ascension symptoms, which probably is the thing that's most bothersome about the ascension. And the last stone that wants to be mentioned is larvicite, and that is mm, it's able to help ground in the fourth and the fifth dimension. So if you're having a lot of trouble focusing, it can help with that. And it's really good with releasing toxic energy. Because one of the things that's difficult is as our energy tries to move up into a higher vibration or a higher frequency, things that are old and heavy, old toxic trauma, it pulls our energy. So it's almost like we're getting out of key, out of tone, out of tune. um, so it would be if we could hear our energy body, it would start to, it would have that squeal. So the larvicite helps it have that it's almost like it lubricates our energy so that it can really stretch. So we're not old and stiff. I don't know if that helps, but there you go. And most of those, again, I have most of those on my website. My spiritual team has been very clear on these are the tools that people need. So things that are there are like really spot on. The other thing is that, and I know for those of you who've watched Neshi's shows, she's talked numerous times about the Merkaba, which is our personal ascension vehicle. It helps us travel easier. And so having something that has that shape can help you remind you that you have that energy field and that you can use it. So I have ones that are metal that are good size that I use as artwork around my healing space and in my home. Um, so when things are kind of going amok, it's like it draws my attention to reactivate anything that might be kind of having difficulty fluctuating. It's also good because you don't know what that is. They naturally are drawn to it when they need it. And it's a fantastic tool to use in meditation. And I know a lot of people have it in crystal form, which is great because, gosh, that can even go in your pocket. But there's something about the openness of the metal shape, like you have the spaces in between. And I have two different kinds. So one is more fifth dimensional and one is more seventh. So they're good to help you practice. So I hope that was helpful. That was a lot of information I wasn't expecting to give you, but that's how my team works. You guys know that. So as you are, navigating this new energy, the big thing is that, you know, oh yeah, Sage, your Merkaba's coming soon. And a tune-up, I'm sure. But the really interesting thing is that we're in this new energy that we are navigating. And part of the difficulty is that we get anxious, we get nervous, we get worried because we're not quite sure what that's going to look like. And those emotional vibrations and signatures often will start to activate old trauma. And a lot of us have, old trauma that's kind of hanging out in our energetic body somewhere. And so the minute we get into a place where we're questioning, we're having some doubt, um, it really starts to slow down our energy field. So it's almost like we're pushing back against what's naturally trying to occur in our energy body and on the earth plane itself. And when we push against a force, all we get is pushed back. I think of it as, being at the ocean, and you have a surfboard, and if you flip it sideways, you're like trying to push it in the water, and the water's completely pushing back. But when it's laying flat, you can kind of skim right over the surface. Um, and when we activate any kind of doubt, or fear, any energy that isn't like pure love or pure joy, we're going to be pushing back. And there are a lot of people out there in the global community who are having a hard time with the ascension. And so they're running amok a little bit with a little bit of fear, um, maybe a lot of bit of fear, and really highly activated survival instincts. And those are extremely helpful when we're actually in a place where we need to watch out for ourselves. But on a day-to-day basis, you're pretty cool in your home. So do you need to be all revved up? And one of the things that's really speeding up the process, is that we're all very connected to technology. So I've been noticing some trends of negative energy flowing through technology because we're spending a lot of time on it. Now, whether that's the vibration of what's being emitted from the devices, or it's 5G or whatever else people are saying. I don't really pay attention to that. I mean, I hear it, but I don't really pay attention. I just know from my experiences that the relationship between us and our technology is really different than when we're interacting with people or with nature. And so that vibration may be causing some energetic stress on our system. And when we have those stressors on our energy, our defenses go down, and our ability to connect to our guides, and our ability to connect to like the highest divine beings that we can, it kind of gets diminished. I like Rob said, I'm kind of like a duck amuck. I like that one, Rob. That was great. Yeah, it really it really is a little bit like that right now. And that's okay. It's we all have good days, and we all have days where it's just, a bunch of chaos. And when we have the chaos, how do we react to that? Um, and Sage is saying black tourmaline everywhere. Block that tech issue. I got dozens to give out soon. Yeah, black tourmaline is one that can work. It's interesting. I was talking with Rob earlier, and yeah, black tourmaline didn't work this weekend. But boy, that pyrite worked really, like, we had pyrite, the black tourmaline we had initially was selenite, and that did not do well at blocking the technology. But we added the pyrite and the peacock ore, a little bit of titanium. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Titanium aura also is working. It was kind of like everything we could throw on the table, we did, and that got it to calm down. But that's just, that it's just one of those things that we're gonna learn a little bit by the seat of our pants, because things are changing. You know, I asked my team some questions about, what the difference was. And um some of it's like we have to learn all over again. Like, people didn't know, how did they find out that lavender works for sleep and it also works on burns? Well, somebody rubbed that plant on you, you know, or used the aloe, right? Somebody broke a plant and used it. It was something that somebody did intuitively, listen to their spiritual team and did it, and then it's been become common knowledge. And then so we're in a little bit of, this is what used to work and now I've got to try something different. So just be adaptable and flexible with things that might have worked really well in the past. They might not work as well, or you might not notice the same stuff. Um, it sort of depends on the intensity, you know? Um, and this is not about fear. This is just like, okay, we're on a roller coaster. Like, certain, you're not so scared as you're going up, and it's kind of cool right at the top. But as you're in that free fall, um, if you don't have your keys in your pocket and you don't have your hat, secured, some stuff's just gonna go flying. And I feel like that's what's happening as we're moving through the energy and through the dimensional shifts. So in terms of the fourth dimension, like I said, a lot of people are talking about the fifth, which is great, like eye on the prize, but the fourth is pretty important. Um, it's you can't jump. You have to experience each thing. And in the fourth dimension, the key is to be in your heart. And how do you get into your heart? You can't be in fear. Fear and love do not exist at the same time. They're polar opposites. So, like, if you're in fear, you aren't in love. You might know what love is and you might know how to experience it, but you're acting from fear. You're not acting from love. And unfortunately, it's really hard sometimes to really stay in that joyful, loving space when things are kind of chaotic around you. But they're only chaotic around us because there's so many people who are chaotic inside, internally. Um, and, as we do our own work, the more calm we are in our internal, um, interesting atmosphere, hemisphere, my team wanted to say, as we're more calm in there, um, then we attract more calm around us. So it's like, the more we can do what we need to do, the more we can help other people do it around us. But if we're acting from fear, like, oh my gosh, you need this, or, because I could be in a place where, like, you have to have this blend, you have to have this crystal, the world's gonna end, the sky is falling. That's not helpful. But I'm like, but I can be in a place of, well, here are a few things that have been working. See if they work for you. If they do, great. If they don't, great. We'll find something new. Um, be in that place of curiosity. Um, I've been working with my students quite a bit on being curious about why things are unfolding the way they're folding. Why are they feeling the way they're feeling? Why is there pain in your neck? Well, what are you resisting speaking up about? Or how do you feel held back? Um, or unable to voice what your concerns are, your needs are. And when we start to recognize that we have the power to create, then we can change those things. And the fourth dimension is reminding us that things manifest and create rapidly when you are in your heart space. Um, I've been having some fun experimenting with the manifestation in the upper dimensions. And so it's the cool thing is I can ask for something to be shown to me. Like I need to know what to do right now. And instantly somebody sending me a picture. I can't even tell you how many times it's like, I really want this thing, something that'll make my heart sing. And then I get a text message right away and somebody sending me a picture of something and saying, I thought of you. And you're like, oh, that's the thing I want. That's the thing I need. Um, it happens quite often. Um, and those things can happen when we aren't worried about it. Um, I can ask for this thing that'll bring me joy to show up, and that's easy or easier. Um, but if I'm, asking for $1 million, I've got a whole bunch of baggage attached to money, and self-worth and deservability or whatever that might come up and get in the way of $1 million being dropped in my lap, like that. Um, I'm happy in the thousands. I can do the thousands really easy. I haven't quite um gotten up there. I'm working on it. Because I really have so much stuff that I want to share with other people. And so the resources to be able to like help all these people would be like super awesome. Um and that's where I am. So what is like your heart's desire? It's wanting to be spoken as we're moving into the fourth dimension. Those dreams and wishes and creations are longing to come out. So there's a huge surge of creative energy. So new music is being written, new paintings are being created. People are making beautiful clothes and jewelry and um, new cars, things that they're their passion. I have new oils that are been coming out. I'm so excited about the ones for the moons. I have ones for the full moon and the new moon, to help with manifesting. It's so exciting. And Kali came through, but so it's one of those things where as you're creating your things from your heart's desire, it's like, how do you share your fully? How do you get you out there in a bigger and brighter way? Um, because when we're in that place in the fourth dimension of sharing our heart and sharing our truth and sharing um, what brings us joy, um, it starts to alter the vibration around us. And it can alter the vibration for our family in a big way. A couple weeks ago, we did the generational healing, and I've been seeing how it's working its way through family that I know. And, it's like it's time for that to move through better. It's time to come out in this particular way. Um, but in that fourth dimensional energy, we're really tapped into how can I be joy and how can I spread joy? And something as silly and easy as like coloring my hair. Um, do you know how many people say something about that when you're out and about? And my car is this like pink color too. So we're like, oh my gosh, you match your car. Or that's really fun. I wish I had the courage to do it. And it's like, just do it. Um, life's short, like have fun. Um, that takes almost no effort, but it sends out this wave of happiness, right? Because it gave somebody some joy. Um, and I feel like when we do things, you know, um, on Sunday, I was, going through and grabbing my coffee before I was teaching. Um, and the person in front of me paid for my coffee. And I was like, oh, well, that's sweet. So I paid for the person behind me. And gave the person a bigger tip at the window. I always give 20%, but I gave more than 20% because she was help facilitating the spread of happiness, right? That person started the ball rolling, but she was keeping it going, and having a good time, saying, hey, they paid it. And I don't know if it was started by the person in front of me. It doesn't matter who started it. It just started that whole wave. And, it was easy, right? Easy to start and easy to, you know, put that energy out there. The random acts of kindness, how often do you do them? When I'm actually out and about, I try to do them, every time I'm out. And some of them are harder than they used to be. One of my favorites was putting away shopping carts, because the elderly and stuff, they have a hard time. And or somebody who's been on crutches or something like that, it's hard to sometimes get your shopping cart put away. With COVID, it's a little harder to like do that for other people unless you got disinfecting wipes with you or something like that. But it's those little things. And I know for my husband had a really hard time because he's somebody who's like a chronic door holder. And it's sometimes hard to do that and keep your distance. And so it's almost like the kindness things that were more normal, it takes more effort to do. So all of those keep your heart open, and to get to the fifth dimension, you have to go through the heart. You have to go through that place of unconditional love. And you have to release all your old grief and disappointment and disconnection from other people. You have to release how we isolate ourselves, and how we create otherness. Um, and what otherness is for my team is that sense of when you categorize a group, and you make them all different than you, um, because then you're creating a us versus them kind of energy sometimes. And so when we have disconnected from how connected we are, that we're all the same. We just come in different flavors. And I'm not going to throw out all the ice cream just because, mint chocolate chip is, not my favorite today. Right. And be like, oh, that person's mint chocolate chip. And I really like, you know, mint chocolate chip, but it has to have dark chips instead of milk chocolate. Like, I mean, it's interesting. Um, so when we create separation, we, in a way, can get into a place where the other becomes a little less human to us. And it's a pattern we have from eons. We've separated because we wanted to feel unique and independent and different, which we all are, but we're also exactly the same. We all have a heart in there that wants to remember how to connect to the divine. We all have that space that just wants to learn how to live together, love together, be together without all this fear and separation, right? Um, so Rob says, well, my group of Sneetches had stars on their belly. I know, some had stars. That is what makes us what the intelligent people call cool. Right? Like, but who decided, right? Who decided what was best and better and higher and whatever? Like, I don't know. It's been something rather confusing for me since childhood. Because I think experiencing other people's energy, everybody has a unique energy system, signature, and but at the base of it, we're all the same. We're all put together energetically the same, male and female, and 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 it doesn't, there is no difference in your energy system depending on like what religion you choose, or your orientations. Your energy system is still the same. So it's confusing, um to me. I know it's programming. We came in and experienced programming, um but it's been a really difficult concept for me. It's really hard for me to understand. um and that's part of the fourth dimension, is you're in that space where we're all connected. So what you feel impacts the collective, and what you do impacts the collective. So you make different choices, when you care about other people, and you know that, your significance impacts other people. So that's where we need to get through and get to. And there are going to be a lot of people kicking and screaming because they think they're going to lose who they are. Um, and they're going to lose the ego being so loud. They're going to lose that abusive inner critic that screams and tells them horrible things about themselves. And they're going to start to remember how to love themselves. And when people learn how to love themselves, they're going to be able to love other people even more fully. Um, and how cool is that? So I'm here for the ride. I don't know about you guys, the ascension ride. Um, and the ascension is not about being better or higher or lower. It's about being fuller and brighter, and yeah, don't you want to just shine brighter? That's what it's for. Um, and Rob asked, did you just go tell me to go love myself? Yes. Yes, I did. I told you to go love yourself in all the ways that you need to. Because that's just, how we roll. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a meditation with you guys. Actually, my team wants to call it a healing transmission. um, and as part of that, we're going to really allow ourselves to connect to the fourth dimension fully, not in that sliding through kind of way. Have some energetic connection. So my team has been very clear that when we have that energetic memory, then we can remember how to get there. So when we do this type of healing in this meditation, it puts us there for a moment, but it leaves an imprint so that we can find it again when we want to and when we need to. And when we're doing it on our own, we can get back. And remember, these are recorded. So if this is a meditation that really resonates for you or helps you in any way, it's going to be there on our channel. Go back and do it again if you need to. Okay. So here we go. We're going to try to get ourselves in our body, put our feet flat on the floor if we can. Feel our centeredness, which to me is making sure my spine is straight and feeling the weight of my muscles connected to my bones. Really being aware of all of the parts that make up who I am. So, my head and my shoulders, my neck, my rib cage, my beautiful heart, and even my hips and my thighs, my knees and my ankles and my feet. And we're just going to gently invite in our spiritual team, our angels, our guides, our ancestors, the elementals, the mystical creatures, the star beings, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to us in this moment. And we set the intention that this healing energy is for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. And taking a moment to experience our central core or our hara line or the crystalline tube above the head, connected to the crown, just allowing some space for the energy to balance and center, allowing us to be open, grounded, and connected with ourselves, with our higher self, the divine consciousness, and allowing space for our perception to come into balance, our thoughts and our ideas coming into a grounded place. Allowing space for our connection to our team to be more complete so that we are able to receive the messages and symbols, coincidences and synchronicities in a newer and fuller way. And experiencing the opening as it goes by the base of the skull, through our throat, really opening all of our self expression, taking away any worry and doubt on saying or doing or being our fullest self. Moving the stress and the tension out of our neck, our shoulders, our ribs. Really allowing space for the divine energy to fill our lungs with the breath of life. Fill our hearts with the unconditional love of the Divine Mother and the Divine Father in harmony, anchoring that within our heart, connecting to the heart of our inner child, and allowing them to experience peace, serenity, joy, and magic. And as the energy moves down, calming and quieting the inner critic, any ways that we bully ourselves, any ways we share our cranky energy with others, bringing that into peace. Filling our self-worth and our self-esteem, tapping into our creative and abundant flow, welcoming that to connect to the flow in as many dimensions as we are connected to, and as many frequencies and vibrations as we are connected to. Calming the waters so that they flow gently, including our breath, our emotions, expanding our manifestation circuit through our hips, grounding our creativity in our spiritual and our physical life, in the masculine and feminine aspects of ourselves, anchoring the energy down through the root, expanding a new foundation that can adjust and adapt in love and joy, and allowing that energy to flow down each of our legs, releasing any rigidity that we may be holding on to, any fear of change, allowing that to move down and out of our body for this moment. And feeling our connection to Grandmother Earth, that beautiful central core expanding as it goes beneath the earth, deeper and wider, all the way to the center of the earth, to the heartbeat of Grandmother Earth herself, allowing space for that connection to be even fuller. And gently allowing our energetic field and all the layers of our aura to notice the energy right now. Welcoming in the signature of the fourth dimension. Reminding us that the key lies within ourselves. And sending love and healing energy out to the earth, to those who have requested healing. And taking a moment of gratitude with your spiritual team for reminding you how your energy can be experienced and how interconnected we all are when we shine our love and our light. And gently bringing our attention and our focus back to our heart space in this physical body, our temple that we are riding in. Notice the weight of your muscles and your bones, the feel of the clothes that you're wearing, the connection to the chair or whatever you may be sitting on. Notice the light around you. Mm. Gently just bring your energy back into this moment whenever you're ready. Good job, you guys. Cindy said, I don't know where or how to begin, too overwhelming. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many things we can get caught up in the details. Um and Holly said she fell asleep. Yeah, this is a good one to fall asleep with. Um so Cindy, um there went my phone. um One thing at a time. One of the things that my team was explaining to me. I've been working on my books. Been writing a couple books, and the one thing that has been coming through is um, find one thing that's awesome every day. And I know that may sound strange, but awesome is such a big, like, it's really good. um, so we think of our gratitude list and the things that we're thankful for, and that has a particular vibration sometimes. Um, but if you try to find one way to be awesome or to experience something awesome every day, just do that. Because then it starts the ball rolling. Um, and it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be really being present with your ice cream. I guess ice cream is the thing tonight. Um, and just really tasting the flavor of it as it's melting on your tongue. Um, and not just hurrying your way through it, like really just savoring every bite. That can be awesome. Um, I'll tell you, it tastes different when you do that. And so that's the type of thing. The other day, the weather was nice, it's been pretty nice. And, in the moment we could think about like, what's the weather going to be like on the weekend and get out of the moment. Or you could be like, oh, it's nice. I'm going to go sit outside and have my cup of coffee outside. And just breathe in the air and maybe even take a nap. But just really enjoying that moment. Um, so even if you do it one little thing every day, see how you can create awesome for you. And generally, when you start to create it for you, other people come around and want to share in that. So maybe that will help. Um, and lots of times kids are great. It's like, what awesome thing would you like to do today? And they'll give you something that they would really enjoy, and then um and just sharing the joy with somebody else, that can be enough to shift. um and all of that starts to shift our perception, and it's our perception that keeps us from gently moving through the ascension rather than kicking and screaming. um, but if you want to do it kicking and screaming, have at it. But I'm in a place right now where, yeah, I don't want to work so hard. I don't want life to be so hard, because it really doesn't have to be. And that is part of why you learn about energy, why you learn about our chakras and our spiritual team. Um, it's it's so we remember how to have joy more often than not in our lives. And 2020 really put a lot of people's perspective, flipped it right over, because it really changed things like our family dynamics and the time we spend together, and um, valuing getting to see people. The value of a hug to me now, I mean, I've always been a hugger and loving hugs, but the inability to hug somebody when that's what they need, that has been, it shows what a precious gift just a hug or a handshake um, can be, right? So, hello, Lisa. Glad you got through to us. Um, so here we are. We are moving through energy shifting. Um, and if we can find a way to do that in our heart space, to spread love and light, joy and happiness, we can start to counteract some of the fear that, I see so many small wounded, people who are like wounded animals who are just, you just want to scoop them up and fill them up, right? With love and light. Because that's what they're missing right now. They're missing that self-love. So yes, I did tell you to go love yourselves. Start with you. And maybe find a way to spread some of that joy. How can you shine your light this week? I'd be really curious to find out. How about I throw out a challenge? Everybody who's listening, find some way to shine your light this week. And when we gather here next week, um, bring those ideas here and share with other people, because maybe that's what we all need, some community to support each other as we go through this shift, because it's a big one, but it doesn't have to be hard. It can be perfect. And Rob's got this little light of mine. Yep, I'm gonna make it shine, and I know you are too. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. We will be back here on the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Trinity Mystical Energy, where you're going to find things all mystical and all energy to help support you in your life. And also visit my shop, trinitymysticalenergy.com, where I've got some of my tools that can help you through this, and some info about my school. Mwah. So have you guys. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye, Julie. Nice to see you at the end. Woohoo!